right, welcome to the next episode of Points Before Power, where we talk about all things credit card reward points uh, and how we can use that to have better time on vacation and pay less money out of pocket. So today we're going to be talking to Mike and about his first credit card reward trip and what that was all about. So yeah, Mike, why don't you tell me a little bit about that trip?
Sure. Yeah. So the first big credit card trip we did was my wife and I on our honeymoon. Actually, we went to Seattle, Vancouver, and Whistler. So kind of like a Pacific Northwest trip. It was a 10-day trip. We flew into Seattle, and then we road tripped up to Vancouver, up to Whistler, and then back to Seattle.
Awesome. Thinking about doing this something very similar coming up this summer. So glad to hear about this. So how'd you get there? What flights did you use?
So I originally opened a Southwest credit card when I purchased my engagement ring. Um, so that got me, I believe at that time it was 60,000 points, and then I'm gonna guess as we were kind of talking about it, then my wife decided to open a Southwest card, and also got 60,000 points. Plus, then since I referred her, I got I got that redemption amount as well too. So we had a good kind of pool of points to work with. So we flew from Milwaukee to Seattle on Southwest. At the time that we were looking, Milwaukee had a direct flight, but we had to go through Denver. And kind of a fun thing, my dad, who's kind of like a AV, not geek or nerd, but he contacted Southwest, and on our flight from Milwaukee to Denver, they made an announcement over the or on the airplane saying that it's our honeymoon, and they had a bottle of champagne for us. So I was yeah, that was some kind of fun that they did. Um, but so our flights cost us 38,000 points each, and that was a cash value of about $325 a person. And since we didn't want to worry about checking on the back end, because as everyone knows with Southwest, you have to check in 24 hours before to get your boarding group time, and then it's just open seating. We actually used a gift card and paid the $25 for the early bird check-in. But since we had extra points, we used points to buy a gift card. Looking back, not sure if this was the best use of the points, but we were just looking to kind of save as much money as we could.
Oh yeah, sometimes it's definitely worth spending a little bit to have a little less stress when you're trying to have a good vacation. And something else that you mentioned was about used future wife, now wife, and her ability also to get points and the referral. So that's definitely something we'll have to talk about in greater length on a different episode. But yeah, again, shout out to Southwest. They're really great to use. I think it's interesting that's one of your that's what you used on your beginner flight. Uh, so how about you said you also road trip? So what other kind of transportation did you use once you got there?
We rented a car at the Seattle airport, and this we booked on points as well. This trip is now coming up on 4 years ago now. So some of my memory is fading me, I guess you could say. But we booked it since at that time the only points we had were Southwest points through the Southwest portal. And I don't know if this is something I would recommend for someone in the future, but the rental car was about 38,000 points, and that cash value was about $383. And we had that the entire time we were on our trip.
Yeah, that's still a great value. It's over a penny a point, which I kind of use as a baseline for comparison on whether I'm getting good value. Obviously, it depends on what the point system is, but yeah, certainly still better than using your own money, $383. So, and then what about lodging? I'm guessing you stayed at a couple of different places as you moved about.
We did, yes. So right when we flew into Seattle, we road tripped up to Vancouver, and we had some points in a Marriott account. We're not really sure how we got them, but we had enough for 2 nights at a Delta by Marriott in the Gastown area of Vancouver. And after looking, it looks like those are about 70,000 points for the 2 nights, and the cash value for that was $248. Now, hotel systems sometimes have a different kind of point redemption value than maybe airlines. So it 70,000 might seem like a lot, but it's not necessarily based on that cash value. And just a quick plug about Vancouver. When we were originally looking at our trip, Vancouver was almost like we didn't know what to do there, but we were very surprised at how much was packed into that small kind of downtown area. There's Granville Island, which is very similar to the the public market here in Milwaukee, or obviously the what everything's modeled after, the public market in Seattle. Stanley Park, we rented bikes and rode around the town for the day. So we were just very surprised at how nice Vancouver was, and want to go back to there someday.
It's nice to have those pleasant surprises and things maybe you weren't looking forward to, but they come out of the blue, and it's a very enjoyable part of the trip.
Yes. So then after those 2 nights, we went up to Whistler, which was kind of the main part of the honeymoon, and we stayed there for 4 nights at a Four Season Whistler. Now we kind of splurged on this, but obviously any Four Seasons hotel is going to be just phenomenal.
Right, right.
And the nice part about this being a ski destination is it had a ski valet, which was mountainside. So all we had to do was ski down for the day. There was some nice young folks there that would take our skis for us, give us hot chocolate, give us cookies. They would take our boots, our gloves, our skis, give us shoes, so we could just go about and check out the village right after that. So that we ended up actually paying cash for. Again, we paid cash through this Southwest portal because they had a promotion going on at the time that if you booked a stay at this particular hotel, you got an extra 3,000 points. And something that Four Seasons, I think, was offering at this time was if you stayed 3 nights, you got a fourth night free. I think that was just due to the time we went. It was just after Martin Luther King weekend, so it's kind of a downtime for skiing because kids are back in school and all that. So that value of that trip or of that stay was $2,200, but we paid only about $1,700 because we got that fourth night free.
Yeah, so I mean, two things that you brought up in there is the bonuses that sometimes hotels and airline companies they'll run special bonuses if you do meet certain criteria that they'll give you additional points on top of what you've earned through your spending or and then the other thing is you mentioned with this lodging that you got the fourth night free. That's something that also comes with a lot of like hotel rewards that when you hit certain levels of, I'll call it priority status, that you can get a fourth night free or even upgrades. So again, that's something else we can talk about at a different time, but definitely people should put that on their radar.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. And then just kind of two more places we stayed. One was a much cheaper night because we had one more night in Whistler, and we thought about staying at the Four Seasons, but we didn't want to spend the $600, $700 for the weekend rate. So we ended up staying at just a cheaper hotel. We believe we found that one on points, and it was around 30,000 points, or about $300. So then from there, we went back and spent 3 nights in Seattle, and we stayed at an Airbnb. And this is something we do personally on trips. We'll stay at either hotels or Airbnbs. Sometimes you just want that more homey feel, or it's a good way to kind of make the trip a little cheaper to cook breakfast or a meal in there. But this Airbnb we stayed at in Queen Anne had amazing views of the surrounding Bay Area. Had a hot tub. It was 3 stories. It was just a massive house, very overkill. But again, it was our honeymoon. We were like, we're going to splurge. So that Airbnb ended up costing us $1,300 for 3 nights. And in our days in Seattle, we went to places like up to the Boeing factory, which I would highly recommend. That's about a half day to 3/4 day trip. Went to the Pike Place Market. Went to the Starbucks, obviously the first Starbucks, but then also this Reserve Roaster, which was in Capitol Hill. And that, again, was just a wonderful time we had in Seattle.
Awesome. Any other things that you did while you were there?
Yeah, one thing I almost forgot is actually, this is kind of unique, I guess, for anyone looking at wedding gifts, is we had a couple that lives in Seattle that we know, and their wedding gift to us was that they were going to take us out to dinner, and we went to a local place, and that was kind of nice because it was an awesome time just with my wife and I, but it was kind of nice to see other people, and like after spending all that money on food, it was nice to get a free dinner, I guess, and nice to see friends always.
Yeah, it's nice to reconnect with family and friends when you're on vacation. So what do you think the trip would have cost you had you paid completely out of pocket? How much you think you saved by using points?
After looking it up and trying to jog our memories and doing some searches, it looked like the trip was about $5,100 in value. But I think we paid closer to about $3,000. So it was about a 40% savings that we had. So even though we only opened 2 cards, I guess the point I wanted to make is, since we only opened actually 1 card, both of us, we still had a huge discount in savings just for a simple Southwest credit card that we opened. And if we would have known more about, hotel credit cards or other things, we could have significantly reduce that cost.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it was a good deal, and you could have made it an even greater deal. And hopefully, we can, share some of the things that we've learned along the way as we get into some other episodes. Also, talking about Seattle and all these places that you went really makes me, obviously you're surrounded by ocean and water. I'm going to take this time before we close out to uh, give a plug for the APEC top tier 5 stage ultra safe reverse osmosis drinking water filter system. We can put a link on it, but I've gotten one. Both my mother and my mother-in-law have gotten one. Multiple friends, and what it does is it takes out all these impurities out of your water. I won't even get into all of it. It is amazing. It is like drinking clean air. If you like Dasani, you'll love the way this thing tastes. I even bought a TDS meter, which is a total dissolved solids meter, to see how clean my water really is, and it is amazing. So I highly recommend that. Mike, you got to come over and have a glass of water.
Maybe once COVID's done, we can safely enjoy that water together.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, I think that wraps up this episode. So we're signing off here. Points before power. We'll see you next time.
Take care. Bye.